Very good morning. We are from Football Association of Malaysia, heading the Medical and Sports Science Unit. I'm Siva here, and my topic for discussion presentation will be adaptation to the new norm in team sports. Well, now things have been changing lately. For this year, 2020 has been a very challenging time for sports. We will be moving into new norm. That's what the term has been widely used in sports fraternity now. Okay, we have all agreed to a consensus that that sports only can occur at a time when all health, social benefits exceed the risk of COVID-19. So our most important thing is when our players, our staffs, or supporters who are coming back into sports, they are not being a threat to COVID. I mean, they are not a threat by COVID-19. So this has been agreed that sports only could occur when we are safe to be back. There were times where the players or the athletes were a bit apprehensive to come back to the sports, especially when we had this in English League, where some of the players did not want to come and play because it was a threat to them. The reasons they were giving is, when they are back to their home, their elderlies who are living with them who are susceptible to be a COVID, they can get COVID-19 and become a threat to their family. So sports only could occur when all this criteria has been removed. Well, I'll go back what is happening in Malaysia. Sports was stopped from 18 March 2020 when our Prime Minister ordered a movement control order. And then we move on to conditional movement control order, I think on the 13th May till 9 June. And we are in the stage of recovery movement control order. If you see, all this happens depending on the number of cases. Lately, when we are doing this video, I think the cases in Malaysia has been increasing lately. So we in sports fraternity, we are not sure what's going to happen. We will be waiting for the government's order. We are always bound by what the government has decision. But again, we already told you that sports only can occur when things are safe. This is a fact file and from the Malaysian football activity. If you can see the slides, we had competitions where we had to suspend, temporarily postpone the competitions. If you can see, last game was played before the MCO. That was on the 16th of March 2020. That was before the Prime Minister announced the MCO. And it was played with the empty stands. It was not usual for the players, for the staffs to have a big stadium with no fans. The Malaysian highest level of activity of football is Liga Super, where we only had a few matches and then we had a balance of 109 matches to be played. And this actually put a big dent in our yearly season. And then we had this Liga Premier, Liga M3, Piala FA and Piala Malaysia. And in national level, we had Malaysian Premier Futsal League, President Cup, and Belia Cup, and the ladies Piala Tun Sharifah Rosia. I think the hardest hit was on the international football, where our national senior team supposed to play a game in UAE during March windows, and it was actually tentative dates came into October 2020, and then AFC and FIFA decided that we cannot have the matches in October 2020, and it has been moved to 2021. We had so many postponed matches. We were preparing, and suddenly the matches keep being postponed and postponed. And the other tournament was AFF Suzuki Cup, which was supposed to be held in November 2020, has been moved to April 2021. Tentative dates are there. How the teams are going to prepare, we are not sure. Whether we can call in the players to prepare for the tournament, things are still in gray area. There was one tournament we supposed to take part in October 2020, and we came to know the tournament was postponed a month before the actual competition. So it has been moved to early 2021. That is AFC Under-19 Championship, where the champions, 4 teams will qualify to the World Youth World Cup. Whereas the ladies senior team, they were supposed to take part in the regional tournament, AFF, and they have been moved to early 2021. So there were so many changes, postponement on games. So it has been a very difficult time for the management, for the staffs, to get things organized when actually we will go back to the normal situation. At the moment, we're still keeping the dates with us, and our preparation is based on what are the dates has been given to us. Okay, on movement control order, you see from 18 March to 13 May, all were confined to home. The players, the staffs, everyone was, confined to home. The impact was extraordinary. No one knows what will next order from the government. Keeping close track with the situation through media. And this is when our fitness trainers were kept busy by designing their workouts with the players. They were communicating via WhatsApp call, whatever means of media for them to be kept active. All were keeping fingers crossed when we will resume sports again. It was interesting when the players, the elite players, came up with their own training programs. They were figuring out what they can do in small confined area, especially in their home. And of course, we were a part of their program. They were tasked to do some exercises, some workouts at home, whatever means they had to do. Some clubs went to the extent of, borrowing whatever things they had in their clubs. Especially, I think some clubs, they provided some bicycles. They took rotation among the players to use the bicycles. So it was something new. We were not expecting this, but we went through this period of movement control order. Actually, what happened during the movement control order, there was no games. They were not allowed to go out from the house. So there were so many changes happening in the players themselves, where they were physically deconditioning, mental effects, not only for the players, the athletes, the staff, the management, everyone went through these mental effects where you don't know when you're coming back to office, sleep patterns, everyone had their own sleeping time, some, things were changing, nutrition especially, everyone started learning to cook. I remember some players were trying their skills on cooking and all that, but it was not what we expected. We didn't want this nutrition thing to affect them, but we couldn't avoid on this. uncertainty or return to sport and feeling of depressed was very common. The only way we could support is keeping close contact with them, just giving support through media, social contacts. So we were waiting for the movement control to over. This was a study done in Africa. So they did a study with 692 athletes from elite and semi-elite athletes. So there was 61% who trained daily and alone, which was common during the movement control order. The thing is, the elite were doing exercise, but it was only a moderate intensity, which is 58%. As sports people, this is not enough. It will really bring them down on physical fitness and so many things. To bring back the physical fitness is going to be a big task for us. 72% were just doing 30 to 60 minutes of exercise. 79% had sleep patterns change significantly. There was the study says that 76% was having go or the carbohydrates, with 76% amounts of carbohydrate intake was very high. And depressed was the main issue in the players. During the conditional movement control order in Malaysia, sports were still under banned activity. Not even the social, the elite, everyone was not allowed to do sports. It's not given permission to receive. The government did not give any go sign for sports. There was anxious waiting for players and staffs. Management has to make decision due to sustainability of the clubs. Clubs work with fan support, sponsors, all these were affected. Due to uncertainty, club had to discuss on contracts with players. This is when it was badly hit the players and the staffs. Players has to take a pay cut ranging from 10% to 30%. In some cases, it was 50%, which the management could not avoid this situation because the sponsors were also affected. The revenue from the ticket collection was affected. So this has brought a lot of stress to the players, to staffs, and we were still waiting when will the government announce that we can go back to sports to the norm. So the good news came when under the government's internal ministry, they announced that individual training was allowed from 15th of June 2020. This was exactly almost 3 months after the MCO started. So this is when we were kept busy with SOPs for the teams to be formulated. We had so many support from FIFA, from AFC, from the clubs, which already, especially in Europe during this period, they already started coming back to play. So we had so many SOPs. Even Kementerian Belia dan Sukan, then Ministry of Sports came up with their own SOPs. We had to work all these SOPs to get what is right for Malaysian football. So part of the SOPs were every official and players were tested for COVID-19 as part of the SOP. So they were only given a head to go once the staff members, the players are tested under the COVID-19 SOP, and teams were started training in batches. They started training in small numbers, where it was only individual. Football is a contact sport, but it was not allowed to have any contact during training. this is when we had to decide how the training is going to be with small numbers. Staffs were stretched to the max because we had to have 2 or 3 training sessions where we have to come in the evening at 4 to 5, one batch, and then 5 to 6 another batch. So constantly we were stretched to the max, and every team had to appoint one dedicated hygiene officer. This is something new, where this person is in charge to make sure that the players, the staffs, kept to the SOPs, especially on the hygiene. So hygiene was most important aspect of COVID-19. We have to take care of this. And FAM part, what we did was measures taken just before they came into the training camp. Briefing on COVID-19, our staffs were assigned to brief all the players, the staffs, the ones who are involved, what was COVID-19 about. And we had players coming all over Malaysia. For national team under 19, we had players coming from Sabah, Sarawak, north and south. So they come from different setup. So we had to train them how we are going to comply with our SOPs. So it's something new to the players. Individual training programs were designed to every player, and daily screening using wellness program. We didn't want to have much contact with the players, so our daily screening using wellness program, where we had our fitness trainers sending out a Google form for them to fill up just before they come for training, to make sure that they are all free of any symptoms, signs, before they resume training. The daily strict monitoring was very important in our curb to COVID-19. And the most important thing is the players had to understand, the athletes, the staffs have to understand the importance of hygiene. Training, fitness trainers had to come up with individual program, more time spent, as I have explained, they have to spend more time on the field. Players had to clean up their own equipments. They were not allowed to leave their equipments in the clubs. They had to take back their equipments. Medical teams had to practice with PPE, which is not usual. So a lot of regular sanitization of the venue and equipment. Practice of hygiene is #1 priority in our new norm. Then there was a setback when our Malaysian League wanted to resume during the recovery movement control order. So several players from Kuching Football Association were tested positive. Mind you, this thing came in because they were actually exposed to people from outside. It's not something internal. So they had to quarantine the team. So the whole team was quarantined, and retesting was done before they were allowed to take part in the games. Then the next good news came in. Contact training was allowed from 15th July. A relaxation on the training program without compromising on the SOPs. Friendly matches were allowed from 2nd August. Our Malaysian League resumed on 22nd of August. Even the referees who were officiating the matches were asked to do the COVID swab test before the tournament resumed. And there was a change in the tournament format. When we were supposed to play home and away matches, it was reduced to only one round of matches. From 22 matches, it became only 11 matches. they had to decide the champions for the league, for AFC qualification. So it was reduced. They wanted to finish the season for this year, and then the team staffs and match officials were kept to the minimum. Officials for match organization were kept to the minimum. So we didn't want a big group during the games and all that. So there was a notable regulation change. Number of substitutes from 3 to became 5. Since we were cramming up all the games in a short period, we wanted to finish the season. So this was suggested by FIFA, and we were adopting to our own regulations, where 3 substitution became 5. Wearing a mask as a reserve was something new. No handshake, celebration. Spitting was not allowed. It can be cautioned. If any players were found to spit in the field, they can be cautioned with an yellow card. So this was something new. Some players just want to spit. It has been told in sports science that they feel better with spitting, but it is not allowed now. And reserve players are seated on the stands, no more on the bench, because the bench cannot accommodate all the reserve players. They have to have the distancing among them. And the worst part of the football competition when we resumed was no more spectators. So it was very difficult. Fans were integral part of our matches. Motivation for players is lost, definitely. And you are playing in an empty stadium. It has been found that distraction to fatigue, when the fans are there, you'll get, distraction to fatigue. You don't get fatigue. So this was all a big hit to the players, and sales of ticket, loss of income. And there was some study done, this was done even before the COVID. Home advantage ensures that a weak team playing in its own stadium often has a good chance of beating a strong team. So the referee's decision could be influenced with the home crowd. So this has been proven in the studies. So the weaker teams have less chance of beating a strong team. The other effect due to COVID-19 was all age group and amateur league had to be suspended or cancelled. So if you see youth league under 19, we had number of teams, 19 players, 475, and staff. Staffs are from coaches, the medical, the assistant coaches, trainers. Everyone was affected. What actually happened was their games could not be continued or cannot be organized because they could not comply to the SOPs. They were playing in an open field. When they play in open field, there's bound for crowd to gather outside the field. So the management decided that we should suspend to reduce the COVID-19 risk. And it was a high cost of running the tournament, where we have to sanitize, and all these were considered before the league has been cancelled. So there was 3 leagues which has been abruptly cancelled during COVID-19. This is a study done in Bundesliga. They were the first league to start when they resumed with football. So everyone was looking upon how they did it, and with the COVID-19, so many in Germany especially. So they have actually done a good job. If you see in the studies, 600, 1,700 to 1,000 players, and then there was so many officials. during the testing, on the first round testing, there was no positive. They did a second round testing where 2 players were found to be positive, 4 officials and 2 players. And they were isolated and the games started. So this study was done during, once the game started, there was no positive case during the season. So it was found that strict hygiene, regular testing can prevent transmission. You must understand regular testing is a big cost to the league. So how much money you want to put in for regular testing. So when you do regular testing, when you pick up any cases or any someone with COVID-19, you can isolate them and you still continue with your games. So this study proves that you can stop COVID-19 with regular testing, with strict hygiene, comply with the SOP. You can beat COVID-19. Yeah, we have to ask ourselves so many questions to answer. When we can develop a vaccine, guidance from the government, bodies, organization will continue to release new data available for requiring staff to adapt quickly. So there will be continuously advised by the government or by day following the number of cases. During this period of time in Malaysia, the number of cases has been increasing and we still wait for government's direction to continue our games and all that. Applying new concepts from sports science, community, especially in monitoring the athletes, staff will further enhance the additional level of protection. Take-home message will be well-organized team of athlete staff who comply with hygiene measures can defeat COVID-19. We are still waiting for international games to start. Malaysia last played their international game in November 2019 and it's going to be 1 year without international game. And still we are asking what are the laws for coming years due to COVID-19 in sports. Thank you very much for your kind attention.